Hello, my name is Jose Chavez. I'm one of the senior computer lab technicians here at Westchester Community College. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to evaluate my training video. First, I'm here to talk about the notebook software basics. And first question is, why use the notebook software? Well, the notebook software is the most efficient way for you to communicate with your brand new smartboard. So, let's minimize this and let's talk about the couple different ways to open the notebook software. So we'll start off by the system tray. There's going to be an icon that looks like a white disc inside of a blue sleeve. If you click on that, you're going to notice the option to open up the notebook software. Let's click on the desktop. The second option is going to be your desktop icon. It says Notebook Software 10. It's going to look like a white sheet of paper with a blue pen on it. And your third option is going to be your Start, All Programs, Smart Software, followed by Notebook Software. Our system isn't set up that way, but we'll get to that. So let's go ahead and let's double click. When you open up the notebook software, you're going to be greeted by a welcome screen. It's your choice whether you'd like to be greeted by that each and every time. There's an option right down here that you can check or uncheck that box if you'd like to be greeted by that. What we want to show you here on this welcome screen, though, is the orient option. That option, you're going to want to use that once every 2 weeks. Make sure that you orient your board whenever it starts to feel like it's not being as responsive as you would like it. Let's go ahead and let's close this out. And let's open up the prepared. Okay, so we already talked about how to open up the notebook software. Let's go into the interface. On the top, you have your menu toolbar. The menu toolbar is going to be a lot like all the different pieces of software that you use on a daily basis. Next, you have the notebook toolbar. And last, you have our tabs. Here, they happen to be on our left-hand side. They could also be on your right-hand side. It's personal preference, and we'll get into how to switch them. Okay, so on our notebook toolbar, you're going to note it's denoted by the use of icons. You have your back, you have your front, you have your add a blank page, you have your open, you have your save, you have your paste from clipboard, you have your undo, your redo, your delete. You have this really cool shade that you can manipulate from the top, from the bottom, from the left, or from the right. Keep in mind, wherever you see a circular indentation on it, that's going to be where you can manipulate that from. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Great. All right. Now, other options that you have there, you have a full page view, you have a dual page view, you have a screenshot where you can just take an image of your entire desktop at that point. You have a link to a smart digital document camera, which would be an add-on to your smart systems. You have your mouse pointer, which is what happens to be selected, and you'll see that selected most of the time. Then you have your pen. You have a magic pen, you have an eraser, you have your line drawing tool, you have your shape tool, you have a shape pen which actually enhances the way your pens interact. Basically, if you were to draw a circle and you had a little bit of a choppy circle, that would repair it for you. Next thing I want to make sure that we see is the magic pen. Now with this magic pen, if I were to draw a square around something, you're going to notice that it's going to zoom in. If I move to the right, it'll zoom in even more. Move to the left, it'll zoom out. And let's go ahead and close that out. Now, using that same pen with that pen still highlighted, if I were to draw a circle around something, you're going to notice that it's going to spotlight that. And if I go inside, I can adjust, I can move around the spotlight as so desired. Let's go ahead and let's close that out. The next option is going to be your background fill, followed by your text color options, followed by a direct link to your properties tab, which we'll get to in a second. And then you're going to notice an icon that's going to be on both your tabs and on your notebook toolbar. This is going to allow you to change the location of the notebook toolbar, whether you'd like it on top for a taller teacher or on the bottom for someone who's shorter, maybe someone in lower education. If you're having your students coming up here, you're not going to want that on the top, you're going to want it on the bottom. Let's go ahead and let's select my mouse pointer again, and I'm going to go ahead and switch this back up to the top. So now we've talked about our menu toolbar and we've talked about our notebook toolbar. let's go ahead and let's talk about our side tabs. We have 4 tabs. We have the slide sorter tab, we have the gallery tab, we have the attachment tab, and we have the properties tab. Quickly followed by the same icon that we saw up in our notebook, where we can go ahead and change where we'd like our tabs located. Here, I'm a lefty, so I'm going to keep it on the left side, but for a right-handed person, it would be efficient to have it on the right-hand side. You're also going to notice that down on the bottom, you have a back, a forward, and add a blank page, and you have a delete. So, we've talked about all of these. Let's go ahead and let's get started on the page sorter tab. So, in our page sorter tab, first thing I want to talk about is the tab itself. It looks like a couple of sheets of paper stacked up on top of each other. Let's add blank pages. There's going to be 4 different ways for you to add blank pages. The first one is going to be in your notebook toolbar. You're going to notice a white piece of paper with a green plus sign. That's your first option for adding a blank page. Second option for adding a blank page. In line with your tabs, you're going to see that same white piece of paper with that plus sign. Third option for adding a blank page. If you go to Insert, you're going to see Blank Page. And last but not least is your 4th option for adding a blank page. In the Page Thumbnail drop-down menu, you're going to see Insert Blank Page. Alright, so now what we want to do is, let's go ahead and let's insert a blank page. And what we want to note is that the blank page that we've added will automatically come in directly after the previous page that you had selected. So since we were on page 2, our blank page automatically came in page 3. Keep that in mind. If you're looking for your blank page, it's right after the previous page that you were on. So now what I want to do is I want to click on my thumbnail drop-down, and I want to delete that page because I really don't want it there. Okay, let's go back to my page 2, and let's talk about page selection, what I just did. What you do is you look for this blue box inside of a slide. That denotes which slide is picked. You can also look at your work area because it's going to show you what's selected. But if your slide sorter is adjusted to take up more space than what your work area is, then you may not be able to see that. So always just look for that blue square, and that'll tell you which slide you've chosen. Now I want to talk about the different options that there are in the page thumbnail drop-down menu. You have delete a page, you have clear a page, you have insert blank page, which we talked about, you have clone a page. That could come in handy if you're using a page very often, and you plan on using that layout very often, but you're only changing minor things around the text. What you can do is clone that page and add that as you need it. Next option is rename a page. You also have direct access to that screen shade, which we accessed from the notebook toolbar previously. And then you have add page to gallery. What's going to happen is the same way that if you use that page very often, you can go ahead and have a snapshot of that page added to your gallery for future use down the road.